Brandon and Caleb, and they mentioned they were trying to go in to work out when it would be empty on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it was a packed house. So is that a sign that some of that mentality has changed and the need to be more physical?
Yeah, the culture, we're constantly evolving with our culture, and we're getting closer to where we want to be. And those guys were alluding to the fact that Wednesdays and Saturdays are their off days. Okay, so that's when the strength staff cuts them loose, and they got, when I first got there was nobody in there on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now you got the majority of the teams in there on Wednesdays and Saturdays doing extra work, trying to get better. And obviously, the strength and the commitment that you make in that weight room is going to make you a more physical football team.
You talked about keeping a list year to year for coaches and everything.
Yep.
You took ownership.
And reporters.
And you took ownership of success and maybe not so much success. What other group of coaches? Carolina has a lot of successful coaches. Did you refer to others? Did other coaches help you kind of work through some of that leadership development?
Not specifically. I didn't reach out to anybody, but I mean, I can tell you since I've been there. I mean, Anson Dorn and Jenny Levy and Coach Williams and you name it. I mean, we got all these Hall of Fame coaches from Mike Fox to you name it. I mean, every program's successful, so I'm able to learn from everybody there. I mean, and that's a great thing, because I can promise you, I'm not too proud to beg for anything if it's going to make us a better football team. And I don't have that much pride where I'm afraid to ask somebody if I think somebody can help us. And all of them have been more than willing in any situation. I've had Anson come and speak to the team, and that was an eye-opening experience for our players. And we've got a lot of great coaches in Carolina, and I'm fortunate to be around them.
When was that? The Anson
when was that? That was 2013, I believe, going into that season. Yeah.
You've worked with Jeff Jansen too, right? The leadership guru guy.
Yeah. Jeff does a great job, and he actually spent a lot of time with our guys this summer. With leadership.
What did he do exactly?
Well, I'm not involved in it. I mean, there's probably about 20 guys that go and they meet with him once every 2 weeks, and he does different things with them on leadership. So and I know it's been good talking to the players that have been involved in it, that they really like it.
In terms of leadership and chemistry and all that, what are you seeing maybe now that you did a year ago this time, 2 years ago? Point to examples or anything?
And again, we're not around them a lot in the summer, so for me, it's just talking to them and asking them how do they feel about the chemistry of the football team, where do they see, and to a guy, it's so much more positive about where we are and what's being done and the attitude on the football team and the guys that are coming in on their own on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and and it's more about what can we do to make our team better instead of what do I need to do to be better as individually, and so focusing on how do I become a better teammate, and if I'm truly going to love one of my teammates, I got to spend time with him, and I got to care about him, and I got to know him on and off the field and everything about him, and that's important. And so, there's a lot of different activities that we set up in the summer for those guys to be put in those positions, whether it be beach volleyball to ultimate frisbee to paintball to just goofy activities that they're. Yeah. So they do all kind of things, and. It's just really to spend time and to build a bond with your brothers. That's all it's about.
Did I hear you correctly? I'm there to say that you didn't believe in the concept of leading by example.
Yeah, I really don't think that's. I don't see that. Leading by example. I mean, that's. If you're a leader, you're going to do what you do. Leading to me is just influencing. Just influencing the guys around you. And if you're a leader, you're influencing one way or the other. So you have to be conscious of how you're leading. And I don't necessarily think that just because if I go out there and I just play as good as I can. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm leading, you know. So leading is influencing. I mean, people say that's leading by example. I don't see it that way. I don't see that as leading. Just because you go out and do your job, I don't see that as being leadership. You know, it's actually influencing the people around you, making them better, raising the level of the guys around you is leadership. You know, and then being aware that you can do it both positively and negatively, and you got to be careful.
Coach, you came when there was a lot of drama going on, but you mentioned family, and I think something that's been evident over the last 2 years especially is the return of a lot of lettermen, a lot of NFL players. We saw it at the Freak Show. I think they were 10, 12 strong. Guys like Greg Ellis coming back to be around the football program. What does that mean to you in terms of how you're gauging that culture, not that you're just building with your players, but the alumni?
Well, you think about it. Think about when you were in college, guys. It's the 4 or 5, and maybe some of your cases 7, 8 year best 7 or 8 years of your life, right? So, I mean, you ought to enjoy that experience, right? When you go to college, that ought to be the best experience you've had in your life. And so you want those guys to come back when they step foot on that campus, just like when you guys step foot back on the campus where you went to school. And all those memories start flowing, you know, and it's a good feeling, you know, and you want those guys to come back as much as possible. And for them to feel comfortable coming back is very important to me, because those are the guys that built what we have, you know, and those are the guys that laid a foundation for where we are. Whether we're where we want to be yet or not, they still were a part of this program, and I want them to feel comfortable, and I want them to want to be around the program. You know, to see Dre Bly out there hanging out with our guys and talking to them, wow. I mean, that guy was a 3-time All-American, and he's hanging out with our guys.
Playing dodgeball.
Yeah, I mean, just jacking around. I mean, what an experience. So if I'm a college football player right now, Dre Bly's out there playing dodgeball with me, I mean, wow. You know, Jonathan Cooper. I mean, go guys like that are legends at Carolina, you know, that are hanging out with those guys. I mean, that's huge. I really do believe that. I mean, that's really big.
How close to you, when you guys were putting in the drainage system in the field, how close were you to actually changing surfaces, going to an artificial surface?
We talked about it. You know, we went back and forth talking about the pros and the cons of it, and I mean, you know, what are the positives, what are the negatives, and I mean, you know, we're in the South, and if you can grow good grass, I mean, grass is still the best surface. I mean, so if you can grow it and it's cost efficient, then why not do it?
You've coached teams that played on both surfaces.
Oh, yeah.
What do you prefer? Especially for your kind of offense.
That's why we're on grass.
Well, was it your call? Or
I like to think so. Probably not, but at least they asked. You know.
So you think that?
I don't know what my call is actually.
I'd heard some
but
stuff.
Bubba was nice to ask me.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, I still. I mean, yeah. If I have my pick, I'm going to go with grass. You know, if you can grow it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good grass all year. Yeah. I'm a grass guy. You know. But you can win on either.
Speaking of facilities, and you think about the arms race now with recruiting, how big is it for a next step maybe at Carolina to have an indoor facility?
Oh, I think it's important. I think it's very important to continue to make the commitment to the program that we need, and that's one of the next things we need. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be done if we're going to keep up with the arms race out there. And believe me, guys, it's an arms race. You guys know as you go to all these programs around, you see what's going on, and it's constant building nonstop. And that's just the way it is. You know, that is college football and college athletics. And so that's not going to stop.
What are some of those other things in addition to an indoor?
Well, I mean, I would love to renovate the building that we're in now. I mean, that building was built in 1998, and it was the Taj Mahal in '98 now, and it has served us well, and it's still a great building. But there are a lot of things I'd like to do to it to improve it, and we will here in the near future.
Do you feel like an indoor facility is on the list? Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
What's the timeline?
Oh, I don't know what the timeline is, but it's definitely on the list, and it will probably be sooner than later.
Is it the first thing on the list?
I don't know. I mean, if you're asking me on my list?
Yeah, personally.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have influence there too.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Yeah.
What else?
I'd like to make improvements in our weight room. I'd like improvements in our locker room, our training room, our equipment room, our Hall of Honor. I mean, so yeah.
Press box?
Is that we need? I've never been up there.
Better reporters up there.
Yeah, we need better reporters up there. That's what we need. Yeah. No, I've never been in the press box. How's it?
That's good.
It's good. All right.
I don't know if Kevin.
Then that's not on my list.
That's good enough.
Will it help us win? Then it's not on my list.
It'll just help the stadium look more imposing, I guess. Everyone's got the luxury suites in the high press box.
Well, the things that I want to focus on are things that are going to make us a better football team. That's the thing I want to focus on.
ACC announced yesterday that they were going to start staff with medical observers in the press box that can communicate with the sideline. Do you have an opinion on that? Do you like that?
I think it's good. I mean, I have the best seat in the house every game, and there are things that I can't see. I mean, and there's a lot going on that sideline, and there's when you're at field level, there's things that you don't see sometimes. I mean, it's just the way it is. So I don't know how many times it will come up, but the fact that we're going to be out there in front and we're going to have somebody prepared and we're worried about the health and safety of our players, I think is really good. So I don't see that it can be a negative thing. I really don't.
The ACC is not going to allow the medical observer to stop the game to check on something. SEC does. Do you think they should have that?
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm concerned about is the protocol as far as, when you get in the last minute, what the 10-second runoff and all those things. So that is a concern, and I still am not clear how that's going to be handled yet. So I'm more worried about how it's going to affect the game itself than, whether it's good. I think it's good. I really do. I don't think having another set of eyes on the safety of your players is a bad thing. And I think we do a lot of things. I'm very comfortable with our protocol and the way we handle injuries, during a game and, just overall. So I think, just having another set of eyes will be good.
I asked you earlier about the NCAA stuff. I know you're a positive guy. Do you worry ever, though, about being wrong with what you tell these recruits coming back to bite you the heart for other people to use that against you in the future?
No, not really. I don't. I mean, there's no, I tell people that I'm positive. They know I'm positive. They know how I feel about things, and they know the way I am. I'm pretty energetic, pretty passionate about what I do. And it's my job to, set a vision for our program and where we want to go as a program. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing that to the best of my ability and to what I know. And so I'm comfortable with what I'm saying, and I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. I really am. So if I wouldn't do it, actually. No, I'm not going to sell my soul.
You made a point about that earlier, too, that's not going to be the determining factor at the end of the day for a player to choose the school for the next 4 years of their life.
Yeah, I think that's a part. But I think it's a small part. I think everybody out there makes that to be a big deal, the biggest deal. And I don't think that's the biggest reason why players choose a school. I just don't. I think when you guys ask them, they're going to answer you. They're going to give you an answer, But I don't think that is the most important factor to them in making a decision. I really don't. I think there's so much more that Carolina has to offer as to why they choose the University of North Carolina.
What are your thoughts then too on the flip side of that, where a school maybe getting a player to come to that school just because of the fear factor of going to a different school, as opposed to going to that school for that school's attributes?
Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's been happening in recruiting forever. Just it's what ammo do they use? And in this instance, most of we hear that it's it's in the scare of the NCAA, and that's and so. I mean, they're going to use something. So that right now is the fodder that they're able to use, and so I mean they're hanging their hat on that. So we'll see what happens, in the spring.
Larry, when you got here 4 years ago, obviously you thought this was behind you.
That was in April when that came out.
You didn't sign up for any of this. How have you just kind of kept saying all this stuff that happened long before you got here and you don't have any control over it? You thought it was over.
Yeah.
Just kind of deal with this whole thing.
I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, think about it. If you're in my shoes, what are you going to do? You going to lay around and cry about it, worry about it, and all that? You really don't have a lot of control over it. So, again, it's establishing the vision of where you want the program to go and being positive and helping guys, hopefully guys seeing the same vision that you have for the program and getting them to take it to where you want them to go. I don't control it. I wasn't involved with it before when it happened. I was brought in to get it corrected and make sure we do things the right way, and that's what we're doing. And so I'm very confident that we're doing things the right way. Some of the things that have been put in place are phenomenal. Our agent program that Paul Povey's running is unbelievable. And you guys ought to spend some time with Paul and find out what he's doing with that program. But it's really cool, and he's doing a great job with it. And our players are really responding really well to it.